Welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. I've spent the last 4 years building out and living in what I believe to be one of the most off-grid capable truck campers on the internet. Today, we're going to be comparing our current air conditioning, which is a Coleman Mach 8 Cub, to our new air conditioning unit from OutEquipPro, which is a 12-volt air conditioner heating combination that'll be more low profile and higher efficiency than our current setup. Let's get into it. Let's get a little baseline and a little more information on our current air conditioning unit, the Coleman Mach 8 Cub. So this AC unit is 48 inches by 28 inches by about 8.5 tall, and it pulls 9 amps at 120 volts. So that works out to be about 1,080 watts when running. One of the biggest differences between this air conditioning unit, the Coleman Mach 8 Cub, and the OutEquipPro 12-volt unit, and running it on solar, is startup. So when this thing starts up, the compressor kicks on and pulls a humongous surge of energy. So much so that you find yourself killing your battery very, very fast every time that compressor kicks on. So with a 12-volt unit, it's much more like a mini split where it has the ability to ramp up or down the amount of amperage draw and cooling needed based on what the inside temperatures are of the camper. If the AC is running for a little while and it gets it to a properly, suitable temperature, you're gonna notice a huge downward curve in the amount of energy that is being consumed. The big question, can we run this thing on solar alone? Before we run our air conditioning on solar, let's talk about what we have in terms of solar and a battery and an inverter. So up on our roof where you saw me before, we have 1,200 watts of solar. That solar feeds into a 410 amp hour lithium battery, which then allows us to power the whole camper utilizing a 3,000 watt inverter. And now that inverter is wired into the whole camper, which is what allows us to run our air conditioning unit, laptop, refrigerator, any appliance we want off of our inverter at any given time, rather than needing a generator to run high-powered appliances. So the beauty of running your air conditioning on solar alone, whether it is through your inverter like this one is, or what our future air conditioning will be, which is going to be 12 volt that bypasses the inverter completely and is hardwired to the battery, allowing for maximum efficiency. But either way, as long as you're not using a generator, it's only the noise level that is the air conditioning unit, which I'll show you guys here just how much noise this thing actually makes. So this is one of the quieter 120 volt air conditioners that you'll find on the market. Relatively low profile, perfect for a truck camper because it doesn't overly extend your height, but our new unit will actually be lower in height, so that'll be great. You can see on the decibel meter behind me, other than my voice, if I stop talking, what it measures out to just being in the room with our air conditioning running. I didn't choose that number on purpose. It just happens to be the amount of decibels that it is. And you can see on my laptop here just how much energy the Coleman Mach 8 Cub is consuming when I'm running on solar alone. We're consuming, even with the amount of solar that we're bringing in, we are drawing 425 watts at the current moment, and that is with bringing in a total of 850 watts. So we're bringing in 850 watts and we're still expelling 400 and right now 34. Quite a bit of juice gets used in order to power this Coleman, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we're excited to switch to our new 12 volt air conditioning from OutEquipPro. Now, the reality of running this air conditioning is that I don't run it on solar. I would for a period of time when the conditions are absolutely optimal, but in the real world, how I run it is on a Honda 2200 generator. So what's sweet is this little Honda guy in here only uses about a gallon of fuel to run for 8 hours, and so it can very adequately power that rooftop unit all night while we're sleeping or for a long period of time during the day when it's hot as heck. But what'll be great about this 12 volt unit is the ability to run it exclusively off of solar during the day, because it will consume less amperage by a lot than our current unit. And then also, if I need to at night for long periods of time, I can run it off of this generator also. But the difference is, when I'm running my current unit on the generator, electricity is bypassing my battery and going straight from the generator right to the air conditioning unit. If I'm running my new air conditioning unit off of the generator, the electricity will be going from the generator to the chargers for the battery, recharging the battery, and then the air conditioning itself will be drawing energy from the battery directly. So just a slightly different way that the electricity is all approached, but in the end, the goal is hopefully to get rid of this guy and be exclusively electricity only for air conditioning and heat. Supplemental heat, that is. Over the last couple of years in Baja, you guys have had to watch me go through the trials and tribulations of holding this water jug over my head. Well, I am happy to announce that we have a solution, and it is thanks to our friends over at eTrailer.com. And that solution is our new Seaflow 3.3 gallon per minute, 115 volt water pump. This water pump is going to allow me to do two things. It's going to allow me to transfer water from our 6-gallon jerry can that we have down there into the camper, but it's also going to allow me to take water from something like this big beautiful lake here, push it through our ClearSource Ultra RV water filtration system that is also available on eTrailer.com, and then fill up the camper with filtered lake water. And with this being a 3.3 gallon per minute pump, it should only take 2 minutes to pump all of this water right up into our camper, saving my neck and my back and my body from having to transfer this water into our camper all the time. And if you guys want to get a pump just like this one, or any of the other accessories that we have in our camper that come from eTrailer.com, like our ClearSource water filtration system, like our torque lift turnbuckles, like our Jensen TVs that we have inside, you name it, you can find it on eTrailer.com. Be sure to use the link in the description below, as that helps out us a ton when it comes to our future here on the road. So if you're looking to buy any RV accessories this year and you want to support the Cummins camper, be sure to use the eTrailer link below. In order to make the labor portion of this project that much easier, I headed over to my friends at Premier Marine. A big thanks to them for letting me use the shop in order to put this air conditioning on. If you haven't watched many of our videos before, Premier Marine is a boat dealership in Salt Lake City, Utah, where I have worked many times throughout our years on the road as a boat mechanic, and so they were kind enough to let me use their shop for the weekend in order to do this AC install and make this video for you guys. Definitely a big perk to being able to do this job here at Premier Marine, even though I'm not really working for them this spring because I showed up so early that there's not a lot of boat work going on, and the mechanics that work here full time certainly deserve the hours available. But on weekends, this place is my little project house, and I love the fact that these solar panels are flying up in the air right now. Now the hope is that I'll be able to lower these solar panels down and just float them kind of across this trailer that is here at the marina, and then I'll move the panels into another service bay in order to free up space in here for taking the air conditioner off and putting our new 12 volt one on. So by utilizing this pallet and the hoist, that's how we're going to send the new air conditioning up to the roof. Now I'm going to take the old one down. This process of using a hoist in order to get the AC on the roof is something I have done before. That's actually how I got the original AC up there back in New Jersey when we put it on probably 5 years ago. I don't think we're going to be high enough to clear the roof of the camper. Doesn't look good. Well, let's find out the hard way. I was hopeful I'd be able to keep this roof dry, but unfortunately, it got drizzled on. So that stinks. I gotta find where I'm gonna put this thing up here for now. So the specs on this thing definitely make it seem like it's about half the size of the original unit. The original unit, I believe, is 48 by 28 by 8.5, and this should be 28 by 28 by like 6. So the low profile part, I'm definitely excited about. Hopefully it is just as easy to install the new one as it will be to remove the old one. Air conditionings, by and large, are secured with just a couple of screws. And also, I think, a couple of bolts. So, should be pretty easy to take this thing out. This old air conditioning unit is 90 pounds, so not only are we going to end up with an air conditioner with a smaller overall surface area, but we're going to lower our center of gravity by removing 50 pounds of dead weight from the top of our camper. So I think the next logical move is to take the new AC out of the box and see how the gasket looks on our 14 by 14 stock RV hull. One of the things that OutEquipPro advertises is how universal this AC is. So whether it's going on an RV like ours with a 14 by 14 hull or something custom, I don't actually know a whole lot of things that wouldn't use a 14 by 14 hull, but insert whatever would make sense here. You can use this unit for those as well. I'll put the dimensions of what the hull is capable of adapting to, I guess, for this unit, whether it be 14 by 14 or something more unique. So I don't exactly know what I got in this little baggie, but let's find out together. I do see a remote, which I know is how this whole unit is controlled, which is going to be pretty sweet. Our Coleman Mach 8 cub that we had, and I'll start using that as past tense because it's up there. That unit used just a little dial knob in order for you to control your temperature. So you're just kind of guessing at what you'd end up with, whereas this has a sweet little digital remote that allows you to turn it on, off, set a timer, set a sleep mode, which will be extremely important for trying to utilize this in a manner to cool the camper down and then not expel our entire batteries overnight until we, I guess, know if this thing is gonna run our whole unit overnight without killing the battery. But we'll find out once we start doing some testing after we get this thing installed. All right, so I'm gonna finish up putting the die core on all these holes and try and kind of smooth it down so it's sort of flat, and then we're gonna let this stuff dry slightly before we put the gasket down. So this gasket took me a little bit of time to get it like in a square shape. The way they ship it in the package, I get it, they're conserving space, and the adhesive on it will certainly keep it in the square form that it needs to be. But I was just a little reluctant to force the gasket to be in place. I wanted it to kind of just naturally, I don't know, soften up and relax to where it would be a square shape on its own. But we're looking pretty good now. The next thing we have to do is lap sealant on the outside edges in order to create a watertight seal. I wanted to do lap sealant underneath, but I could not figure out a way to do the lap sealant while also allowing the adhesive that's on the gasket to stick and hold it in this nice square shaped formation that we have here. So I haven't mentioned this yet, but the instructions for this 12 volt OutEquipPro AC unit are online. And what's really cool is they're actually in video format, and it's not like a full long tutorial. It's a computer generated video of the installation process that would apply to any vehicle. And one of the things, the next thing, is to put these little rubber guys back in the holes of the gasket, and those keep the rigidity of the gasket so that it doesn't compress once you put the air conditioning on there. And then you'll see in the future steps where we're going to use some bracketry to mount this inside. I've been letting this die core settle around the perimeter of the gasket, but it is finally time to install this air conditioner. I'm
gonna go take a look at the inside and see how it aligns there and if this all makes me happy.
Everything's all situated up there on the roof now, so I'm gonna put these studs in. Next piece of the puzzle are these brackets, which are gonna be what keep this whole thing from flying off. You got some washers. I have been at it for a while here. Good news, bad news. It is very low profile. That's your good news. Bad news is the fit is not quite perfect. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, but I've been here for a while reducing the length of these studs. You're supposed to cut them to length in order to fit your application, but no matter how much I cut, I am still butting up against the plastic shroud of the air distribution area. And I have this gap, you know, it's like maybe 1/3 of an inch on one side, but this side's like a finger's width, so 1/2 an inch. I think I'm gonna end up going to Home Depot tomorrow and getting something and making a shroud. I'm gonna figure it out.
The next day.
Been working on this little spacer setup here for a day or so, just off and on. It is a 3/4 inch piece of birch plywood that I just stained and cut. You can see why I needed to do this. This bracket here sticks a little bit lower than desirable, and in order for everything to sit flush with the little plastic piece that I'm going to put on next, I needed some sort of step down or elevation or spacer. And so now we're at the point where I can start connecting it in terms of the interior parts and putting on the plastic shroud around it. So let's get this thing installed. I think it looks pretty darn good. And look at how nice and low profile it is. So for reference, I'm 6'2", and what is that, like 3-4 inches of clearance under my head? And I think that my little decorative shroud spacer thing came out looking super nice. Very evenly spaced. So the next step is gonna be getting the power and ground hooked up. So I'm gonna get this battery compartment open. One thing I didn't film was the act of running the wires through the roof, but what you need to do is commit to drilling a decent sized hole in your roof and using what I refer to as a solar gland in order to run the wires through the roof and keep everything watertight. Inside my battery compartment, I have my wall of circuit breakers. Although the OutEquipPro kit comes complete with a 100 amp fuse, I opted for a 100 amp resettable circuit breaker for the added convenience of not having to carry spare fuses. Connecting the new 12 volt AC was super easy. It's literally just a matter of attaching the positive and negative wire to your battery and you are ready to start cooling down your rig right away. It's been a minute since I picked up the camera related to our air conditioner, but we are now in Boise and it is finally warm enough out to where it commands using the air conditioner. Now it is 25 degrees Celsius in here right now, which translates to about this temperature, and we're going to set it for 18 degrees, which is a pretty comfortable temperature in the truck camper. So just power that on, and it already is set to 18, and you'll slowly start to hear it ramp up, and then eventually you're going to hear the compressor kind of kick in at almost full force. And let's find out if this thing will run directly off of solar. Well, now it's picking up. See how it does running off of solar. See how much energy we're pulling. See if we can continue to run our fridge on AC electric, which is off of our inverter, while simultaneously running our AC on DC. I know that's confusing. Air conditioner on direct current, and cool this place down without burying our battery like we would have with our previous air conditioner in here. So here is the desktop version of our Victron app. Now, we were fully charged prior to me turning this air conditioner on, which is why we're in an absorption state, as you can see here. And we are still pulling in a positive amount of power in order to keep this battery happy, but we are also using complete solar to run the air conditioner and the fridge. So we are pulling a total of 600 watts right now, running both the fridge and the air conditioner. Let's see what happens to those numbers when I shut off the fridge. Okay, so the fridge itself was already satisfied in terms of its internal temperature, so it was not actually drawing anything. So we are running the air conditioner solely, and with whatever other electrical items I have going in here, which is usually pulling, let's call it about 7 amps, just chilling between 5 and 7 amps. We are using 35 amps to run our air conditioner, which is nothing. 35 amps is minute for an air conditioner. The original air conditioner that we had in here, forget what it was, I'll look it up here, but it was, you know, in the neighborhoods of 80 to 100 amps when it was running. So this is 33% of the original amount of power that our other air conditioner pulled, and it is also more BTUs than our previous air conditioner. So 10,000 BTUs on this new one. The old one was 9,200 BTUs. So I couldn't be more happy with the performance on this thing. I mean, it's already cooling off quite a bit in the camper here. I can rotate these airflow outlets to try and blow some of it up in towards the bed area. Have 2 blowing down here into the living space, and just feel an immediate level of coolness in here. So I love it. I mean, this thing's sweet. My decorative shroud is looking pristine, perfectly done, if I do say so myself. Very low profile. I mean, no problems walking underneath here. And we're blowing cold air, and we're barely using any electricity. So this is going to allow us to do things like go back to Baja earlier, where I would normally avoid it because it's hottest. And other things like the desert Southwest, you name it, just the ability to have air conditioning that doesn't require a generator. Or if, you know, we're just in a restaurant or something like that for a little while, and this guy needs to be kept cool because it's 90 degrees out, I can just run the air conditioning and keep him happy. Huh, big guy? What a big cat. Yes, we did the air conditioning partially for your existence, you big football. That wraps up our video on the OutEquipPro 12V, 10,000 BTU air conditioner with supplemental heat. If you want to get one for yourself, be sure to check out the link in the description below, and I think you'll love it. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe, turn on notifications. We are headed to Alaska for the summer, with a whole bunch of other stops on the way. Our next video, we're headed to Boise, Idaho to check out Rugged Mountain RV and their new X14 model. Give you a full walkthrough on that, and give you a walkthrough on their Denali 3S, which is their triple slide. From Boise, we're headed further north. So thanks guys, love you, appreciate you being here. Oh, also, if you don't follow us on Patreon, you should check that out too. All our videos go out early on there. You get special access to us, way better communication. We've got extra gifts, let's call it, for you on Patreon that you might get. So check it out, The Cummins Camper at Patreon. Bye.